Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Let's get right into it. So right here, as we can see on Merrill Edge.com, we have shared by Tyler here. We can see that XRP Ripple Liquid, or this type of liquidity index, is actually available. Now, for those of you that do not know, Merrill Edge is basically just an electronic trading platform. It was provided by Bank of America, as we can see here in the screenshot. I'll actually just go to the direct website so you guys can look at this. And again, they're part of Bank of America's retail banking division. It was launched back in 2010. And Merrill Edge is created to merge, Bank of America online investing and also Merrill Lynch's research. So, along with these investment tools, and anything else available with this and these accounts available. Now, I do not know when this was actually listed. Thank you, Tyler, for pointing this out. If we go to, a year, there's no data available. Month, no data available. But then in a week, we can kind of see what's going on. So, not necessarily sure if this has been listed and available for a long time. Let me know down below. Also, this is validating what we're already seeing by these price metrics. Along with this, which is older, NASDAQ actually listing the XRP Liquidity Index. This is huge. I know many people in the community have talked about the importance of this, and it is basically signifying and validating the future for not only XRP ecosystem, but also enabling true price discovery in the future, which is going to be huge. Now, the truth is, a lot of the assets in the space well outside of crypto, I'm talking, these derivative notes for metals, nothing is truly, accurate in terms of pricing. It is fake. These are arbitrary numbers. I believe they are heavily manipulated by some of the biggest names in the game. And what will happen is we are moving towards this level playing field, as we hear all these politicians and, payment companies saying, in terms of, financial inclusion and equal opportunity, and then even, outside of, payments in the fintech space, we are going to have the opportunity for true, not only, of course, interoperability, but financial inclusion, asset fractionalization, becoming your own central bank. All right, now people often ask, all right, Kevin, for XRP, whether it's, $3, $10, $1,000 per token, when are you taking profit? And I don't really think they understand the point. Now, don't get me wrong, I will be de-risking with all of my assets as always in my portfolio, adjusting them from time to time. I have certain plans, but if you understand that XRP is aiming to be one of the backbone protocols, or, this XRP ledger, the XRP being the asset, potentially, being, linked with interledger protocol, why on earth would you sell something that is deflationary, increases in price the more it's used, and acts as a bridge asset to transfer any and all forms of value, whether it's, simply burning XRP to fuel the network for IOUs or being used as XRP as the fastest payment option. I know it is largely illiquid compared to other assets in the space, but they are levels beyond what is happening right now. We are seeing what we need to on a daily basis, guys. We are seeing the need for, real-time payments. That's been the talk. For example, right here, we got Anders Lundberg again. Definite follow. This is X_Anderson. So good news for on-demand liquidity. For those of you that do not know, this is XRP's, sole product, okay, for, Ripple. So it utilizes XRP for remittance. We have a few corridors that we are live. Now, it seems every time the market goes down, we actually see, well, at least I do, I noticed that, the on-demand liquidity actually does decent in terms of volume. Now, as we can see, utility-scan.com, people have actually made this site, Utility Scan. This is still in the beta version, and we can actually see everything that's going on. So we see the corridors that are, live potentially. So right here, and relatively right now, guys, for on-demand liquidity, it is low value, higher volume. Well, essentially kind of low volume, but we're getting there. And that is what is important. These assets that you are holding, the protocol is actually being used by some of the biggest groups in the world. Now, not at the scale we'd like to see, but remember, even State Street, as I said in the previous video, if you read that top comment, they said, trickle, then flood. This is how the digital asset space will reach adoption. Again, State Street, they own 10% of the world's assets, nearly $30 trillion US dollars. Okay, along with them, BlackRock, of course, and guess who BlackRock's blockchain lead is? We got Mitchnick, again. The gentleman left Ripple to work with them. We have people that have left Ripple to take, high bank advising positions for some of the biggest banks. And we have some of the biggest banks and, employees leaving to come work with Ripple to innovate. We have Marjan Delatine leaving Swift in the GPI program that competed with Ripple's Xcurrent to now help and work and build their projects as well. I think this is all planned. I was reading through some documents today, going through, reading even right here, I Am Legion just putting all of this together. some of the best, most convincing evidence. We got Accenture, we got NTT Data, Everest, anywhere from the 4th to 6th largest IT firm in the world, specifically documenting, showing proof of concepts. SIA, huge groups, SBI Holdings. We're going in depth in detail about the XRP ecosystem, proof of concepts, R3 with various projects tokenizing these assets on distributed ledger technology. Massive things going on. I do not want to share this. I will have the link in the top of the description, because I just don't think it's ethical to share, this type of work. This is on coil.com. I encourage you guys to support him. Come check this out. The only time I'll actually share it is if, he says I can, or if, because he also sources other people's research as well, along with his own, which I greatly appreciate, or, those people also give me permission. But I highly recommend you go to coil.com. And again, this is I Am Legion, and I'll have the link in the top of the description. This is some of the most compelling evidence. I am talking about connections to 10,000 plus, not only banks, but, projects, products, payment platforms, financial institutions, organizations, partnerships, mergers, acquisitions that all point directly to XRP usage via settlement as a bridge asset, via, micro payments. I just want you guys to question everything I'm saying. I've never been more convinced in my entire life with XRP's utility in the future as one of the definitive and highly likely used assets. Now, there's going to be multiple winners. Not all of these groups are in competition by any means, but there's just so much occurring. And I encourage you guys, please. I remember when I started, I was, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? In culture shock. Like, I didn't understand liquidity and these catch-all terms. I remember, several years ago, just trying to understand what this technology was. I'd be on YouTube for hours. I'd be reading, chats for hours. I'd be going into the documents, Googling like literally every type of term and jargon that I wasn't necessarily familiar with. I come from a, technological background, but in terms of payments, it was relatively new. I'm familiar with, APIs and everything like that, and cybersecurity. But when it comes to, actual financial technology, it was relatively new to me. But I think I picked it up pretty quickly, thanks to literally just talking and listening to experts on a daily basis. So please, guys, check this out. This is all the information you need. You'll never need to watch another YouTube video again. I just wanted to share that. ACI worldwide, we're talking trillions in the network. We're talking about the banks that back Ripple, talking about the integrations. For God's sake, PayPal has an interledger protocol plugin. You can see this on GitHub. Another researcher, Darren Moore, he talks about, CLS, continuous link settlements, which is essentially part of the correspondent banking network that will settle using an asset. And they use, kind of a platform, they call it PayPlus, and this is for foreign exchange settlement. We know the foreign exchange market settles trillions per day, well over 5 trillion per day. And PayPlus, as you know, has Ripple, the company, and their RippleNet software integrated in the technology. Finastra, they literally incorporate the top 48 of the top 50 banks in the world. They are signed on to Ripple. They can access everything. So Ripple does not just have their 300 to 400 partners. They have thousands. We have Temenos at 3,000 plus. We have Finastra with easily over 9,000 partners. Now, again, Ripple's integrated into this, D&H Finastra software that is called PayPlus. CLS, which is currently most of the network used today, they use PayPlus. Now, the DTCC, which is a behemoth. Some people say, oh no, XRP will never be used to, bridge assets via settlement. No way. Well, it's really interesting because they plan on specifically using distributed ledger technology, and they specifically said they will be using CLS for payment settlement on their platform. Now, DLT is absolutely useful. Blockchain is a subset, and the only time that, a token is used, at least with cross-border, is to transfer the value. This is, I know it sounds too good to be true. Very little of the population is even aware of what's really going on. All right. Now, I believe it's going to happen hard and fast. I'm not trying to hype you guys up. I'm encouraging you to question me. You can disagree. It's super funny when XRP price is down. Nobody watches videos. Some people want to watch it as just a reassurance because they're insecure and they don't do their own, research, and they, just want reassurance into their investment. Guys, nobody holds my hand. Please do your own research, and that is all you need to calm yourself. This is more legit than holding fiat, without a doubt in my mind. I believe that this will, whether you think its only upside is $3, $10, or, 4 digits, I'm not going to give a price prediction. That is merely a guessing game. We're on the leading edge. This has never been done before. So anything I say, whether it's right or wrong, somebody can come back and use it against me. And I know how quick this community is and how quick everybody is to turn on each other, especially when we're in a multi-year bear market. And this market is in such nascent space. Right now, we are still fostering the ecosystem and, growing and growing liquidity on a daily basis, incentivizing market makers, silently building on the back, in the background. Ripple is doing everything I want to see them do. I'm seeing their initiatives do everything I want to see them do. So please, guys, I'm going to continue with this video in some cryptocurrency news, but definitely consider looking at this. This is I Am Legion on coil.com. All right. So next up is, again, the liquidity index on NASDAQ. If you guys want to check that out, feel free to Google that. All right, then right here, XRP, you amaze me. So now a lot of these banks, some of these are older articles, just so you know, they're all talking about real-time payments. So we've talked yesterday, what was it, American Express, a RippleNet partner, talked about Bank of America, which is finally a confirmed RippleNet partner. I mean, I know they're, connected with their advisory board, etc. HSBC, RippleNet partner. And then we have Citibank, which of course is also connected with R3. And we can kind of go right here, real-time payments. We see Alberto Casas, NA, and again, payments and receivables head. And he says, and this is actually on his LinkedIn as well, real-time payments future remains bright. However, only a concerted effort by all stakeholders will lead to truly material adoption. Similar to, what Miss Christine Lagarde has actually said in the past, and now she is the former director of the International Monetary Fund, now the president of the European Central Bank. And keep in mind, they've consulted with Brad Garlinghouse and, Ripple Company multiple times regarding DLT. All right, so we can see here the same narrative. Every single bank's been talking about this, whether it's a recent article or, a year or two old. They say, global time or global real-time payments, RTP. And this platform is from the Clearinghouse, TCH. It's the first new payment system in the US in 40 years. And keep in mind, Swift, guys, 40 years old, all built between, before the internet, pre-digital era. The same narrative, and there is a difference between clearing and settlement. I covered that in the video yesterday. But it's, again, so we got Citi, and now also shared by JAIZAI. So thank you for sharing this, mobilepaymentstoday.com. We can also see additional rollout, of course, Wells Fargo and HSBC. And HSBC is another behemoth, a RippleNet partner, one of the banks that are too big to fail. I'm watching HSBC and Deutsche Bank specifically this year. Keep an eye out. Okay. API integration, we get it, real-time payment networks, we see what's happening, scheduled, and now the rollout is scheduled to be completed by early 2020. Well, what do you guys consider early 2020? Because we are almost halfway through the year. So hopefully we see something. Now, I'm not saying this is XRP. What I'm saying is there's a push, an initiative for real-time payments. Nonetheless, everything's going digital. This does not change anything. I never talk about XRP being used domestically. Could it be? Perhaps. I think that RippleNet and their messaging visibility and, bidirectional capabilities in real time, FX rates and getting all that in confirmation is huge. And I think that these banks are either building their own or utilizing RippleNet. I think there's tons and tons of people on RippleNet. Nobody really cares, though, because we want them to use XRP. Through utility, the price of XRP appreciates. But right now, we are simply waiting. Now, this is just a waiting game. This is how it is with any type of technology being adopted. Many people gave up on Amazon during that bear market. That was several years. Many people gave up on Netscape in the early 90s for several years. The media put out, fearful campaigns and said, do not invest in internet companies. They are volatile. And most people didn't understand the jargon of that. So they listened to the media instead of just simply setting, forgetting, and holding on. So again, do your own research, question everything I'm saying, and I think you'll realize we don't have to agree on everything, but what you will see is that the backing, the funding, the potential, the proof of concepts, and trials with some of the top 100 banks in the world are there. All right, literally go to Ripple, look at the people that are working for them, look where they came from, look at where the former people of Ripple, it's almost like they're switching and swapping between the biggest companies and organizations in the world. All right, XRP Arcade is a great website for that. All right, next up, so we got Binance, one of the biggest exchanges in the globe. They did just acquire, are in the process of acquiring CoinMarketCap as well. So right here, Binance Savings adds XRP and XLM Lumens to flexible deposits. So as we can see here, Binance.Zendesk or Zendesk, we can see you can do a savings type of model. And instead of becoming your own bank, you can actually hold it on the platform and earn interest. Now, this is not something I do. I do not advocate this whatsoever. I'm not going to comment on that. That's up to you. Do your own research. Excuse me, but just something to notice again. So you can see XRP and XLM are on this flexible deposits, a value-added service to Binance users who hold these digital assets, not simply trading them, just want to buy and hold as, an investment mechanism. So we can see the frequently asked questions. Again, flexible savings is your crypto savings account. So similar to gaining interest on the funds, you are actually lending them and you can earn interest on various crypto. And this is actually lent to them to Binance margin, and you receive interests. You can see how often you're paid, the APR and the rate that you were paid upon. You can set up for automatic, resubscription all the time. You can, have max amounts in the individual caps for each of these. BUSD is actually their Binance USD stablecoin. We have Tether. I'm not, comfortable holding Tether. So maybe you guys are. I'm bullish on BNB. Nothing's changed. They are, Binance is absolutely massive, and they're always making a push for that. And then we can see flexible savings. We see XRP, XLM, Bitcoin Cash, and then we can see locked savings with even higher percents of annualized interest. Excuse me. All right. XRP Crypto Wolf. Now, actually, another thing too, guys, there's other groups that you can actually collateralize your debt and take collateralized debt positions. So instead of taking profit like everyone's thinking, you can kind of take a loan against your crypto. One group I do recommend and support to look into at least and see what they're building with the Interledger protocol is Kava, Kava, right? Kava, the Cosmos platform. Some of those I'm actually really interested in their backing in their relation to Ripple specifically and building upon the Interledger protocol. All right here, XRP Crypto Wolf. So France's financial regulators respond to the European Commission's cryptocurrency consultation. A representative pointed out the importance of defining crypto assets in order to provide, here's the quote, a level playing field between entities regulated at national level. So we're seeing that again, level playing field. And as GXRP even made a point the other day, we're seeing that happening right now. This year has been absolutely crazy, not just for crypto, but for the entire world and all markets for that matter. All right, next up, Matthew, L-I-N-Y. Pretty cool to see here, April 2020. So this is new. European Parliament. So talking about crypto assets, key developments, regulatory concerns, and responses. Now, we can see that all of these cryptos have been listed. We got GNT, I haven't heard of them in a long time. Ethereum, Dash, JP Morgan, Pax, Tether, Libra, Monero, Cardano. All of these guys are in the report, but no mention of XRP. So really quick, we'll look at these pictures, and then I'll go into the document just to show you. Personally, I've seen this symbol before on a few people's shirts and in backgrounds. Don't want to get turned into a conspiracy theorist, but just saying. All right, and then right here, crypto assets, key developments, regulatory concerns, blah, blah, blah. And remember the narrative. They're not calling it cryptocurrency anymore. They are calling them crypto assets. They are recognizing those that actually have utility do such a thing. So right here is the taxonomy of these crypto assets now. So we have some at the sovereign level, such as central bank digital currencies that are issued by the bank, whether they're, backed by gold or a stable token pegged 1-to-1 to their actual existing fiat and just digitized. Or we have private cryptocurrencies. So we have crypto assets. Now they fall between cryptocurrencies or tokens. There's also hybrids of these. So we have traditional non-backed cryptocurrencies. We have stable coins now, of course, and stable coins don't really solve the problem of bridge assets or bridging assets. So XRP has no threat here. We see investment tokens. Okay, that will be big. And then also utility tokens. Now, if it were me betting in the future, this is just my opinion. None of this video is financial advice. Please do your own research. I would assume that XRP, if it ever has some type of, regulatory approval for anything, it will be classified as some version of a commodity combination, maybe a hybrid of a utility token or exchange token, something like that. It will not be classified as a security. The current framework and the legal framework will not help anybody, whether they do on-demand liquidity and they're, exchanging it, or if, they actually white label their own technology like ACI Worldwide could potentially do. I just don't see them ever being classified as a security. The FUD and the fearful propaganda will continue. I think that right before XRP absolutely begins to appreciate, you're going to be hit with more negativity than ever before. If I see anything truly bad and I actually am like, you know what, I'm out, I'm going to let you guys know. But for me, they've been long standing. We're, coming up on, 10 years of XRP being around, developing liquidity, existing. Nothing's changing. I'm seeing everything I want in this investment. If you realize where we started and how high we've already come, I still think that we're going to improve and increase in terms of price by thousands and thousands of %. This is just the beginning. Some user the other day, I believe I saw it on Twitter, and I'm sorry if I didn't answer. They were asking, hey, Kevin, I know you said in a previous video, XRP circulating supply is around maybe 3 to 5 billion, and CoinMarketCap says it's around 43 billion. Is it wrong? And what I meant was the actual amount of XRP truly being traded and circulating in the system is way, way lower than what people realize. So if you actually did the math and you realize that there's not 43 billion in circulation being traded, most of that is being held by some of the biggest exchanges. Some of us are buying and just simply holding it. I'm not trading it back and forth all day with my friends or, using on-demand liquidity. Other groups are some of the biggest founders. Other groups are potentially, hedge funds in the future, of course, and banks will be able to custody the assets, as we've heard from many, many professionals. A lot of it's just sitting idle. Even Matthew Mellon, he lost millions of XRP, things of that nature. So in reality, I think that there's tons of wash trading. This is not just in XRP. This is in all crypto assets, and honestly, maybe even, metals and the markets of trading overall. The volume is wash trading. It is completely fake. Just like kind of laundering money. These are artificial numbers right now. We are waiting for this level playing field to see true price discovery, and that is where I remain extremely, extremely bullish. NASDAQ listed the XRP liquidity index. It's my belief that we will see actually many stable coins built upon and running on the XRP ledger. Some will be collateralized. This will increase demand for XRP with its already existing limited supply. This is where, we can see giant price jumps. But until this happens, we may just have this low price until we're seeing true utility, or we see these, nations, governments, or even institutions or, hedge funds actually doing something like this. Now, luckily, that's not what I'm waiting on. I'm just simply waiting on, building in utility. I'm not waiting for this to happen or this to happen or this to happen, because I anticipate that there's going to be a multitude of things occurring. Okay, so as we can see here, let me go to the top of this document. I was just looking through it. Crypto assets, and again, European Parliament. And what I like to do is just do Control F. For example, I'll do XRP. There's nothing. XLM, nothing. I'll do, interoperability. We can see it a few times here with cross-border. Of course, it's only listed one time in this entire 77-page document. Pretty interesting. I'll type in border for cross-border. You guys can, read everything talking about, global stable coins under a lot of scrutiny, because they could pose significant risks to policy. They kind of criticize everything. They talk about Libra. Of course, they don't want Libra to be the winner, because then there's, an issue of trust. The company would be absolutely massive. Let's see, cross-border use cases, just talking about friction in the payments, facilitating financial inclusion. If you guys go through these documents, kind of the same narrative, but you would be so surprised how, fractured in how, each group, like whether they're in accounting or, whether they're in supply chain, they're not really seeing the bigger picture. They all have a different take, and they're not looking at the higher level, perspective. Now, keep in mind, I'm not, with these companies per se, so I don't really see what they see on a daily basis, but I think that they need to really step up, because when you step up and you look at these, abstracts of these huge groups, and, the ECB working with the Royal Bank of Canada or the Bank of Japan and working on sending digitized dollars over the distributed ledger tech, you're actually seeing what they're looking for, their proof of concepts. You're seeing, the pros and cons to every technology. And I'm telling you guys, I wholeheartedly believe that Interledger Protocol, of course, this is already gifted to the World Wide Web Consortium, of course, and, XRP is one of the number one choices for assets. It aims to be as liquid as a G10 currency. When something is that liquid, has high liquidity and transfers, and begins to transfer higher value with a limited supply, you tell me what the price does. All right. My only fear is that we still have to wait a few more years. But honestly, I think that this year we're going to see and have some big surprises before end of year. All right. And then lastly, again, guys, I encourage you, you're never going to have to watch another YouTube video again. I'm not making money for this to share this. I just wanted to support I Am Legion. This is literally going to help you guys better understand the backing of some of these biggest groups that support Ripple or the XRP ecosystem or Interledger protocol, and literally are validating the use cases and showing the integrations of Ripple, RippleNet, and actual XRP for settlement. Whether we get 5% or 100% market share, I see tremendous upside. I can assure you, in my opinion, please do your own research. You are a big boy. You're responsible for yourself. That XRP is not meant to be sub $1. So with that, guys, I appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one.